And here we go, we're back again with now with some Tomb Kings. I've actually played them very little, and I figured it's about time I figured out how they work. So for today, we're going for very standard builds, and if we're feeling comfortable, we might start trying developing our own by the end of today. For this game, we're up against Skaven, and we've gone for as classic as you can. This is a copy of Falcon's build list, except with some archers minus a bone giant and some stalkers. Our lord is Cetra, and we'll be mostly relying on our cavalry to deal with this Skaven today. And yeah, there you go. That's basically it. Lots of skirmishers. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how well this will go, though, with the new Skaven update. The wolf rats might be scary, but they also might just die really quickly. Hello, Grimdelwald. Hello, hello. Do you have any thoughts and opinions about Tomb Kings? I'll take all the information I can get. Also, yes, this map is terrible. Where can you find Falcon's list? I don't have the video on hand currently, but it's a he has a video up what's it, describing different builds. Also, we'll be back in just a second, but it takes armies a little while to get to each other, so I'm sure it'll be inconsequential. All right, and we're back. We're back. What happened? What happened? Nothing? Okay, sick. Now, let's see. What does my opponent have? He has Thought. Nice. Usage of the new lords. And what's this? Some Warp Lock Giselles also. There's something shooting me, too. Looks like a Warp Lightning Cannon. It gets Zap. So, we'll bring up our Bone Giant. His job is to deal with that. And they can do it quite effectively, I think. So let's see how it goes. That single Warp Lightning Cannon, though, is doing quite a bit of damage. So we want to advance that Bone Giant as quickly as possible, and dodging with Cetra. He is on his chariot. Oh, what the? Oh, he's on his chariot. I see. So he can't actually route, I think. Yeah, he lost his undead trait, but whatever. Does he still have crumbling? He does. Interesting. And then, yeah, we're just going to park right here. And with our range advantage, the Skaven will have to eventually advance, I believe. Although, since the Warp Lightning Cannon is distracted, we can start skirmishing with our ranged skirmishers. And we also have to deal with the Giselles. I forgot about that. So let's actually just do a full advance and see if we can shut them down, since our Bone Giant is taking quite a bit of damage. Oh man, yeah, he's taking a beating. So let's give him some physical resist too. And get our horsemen in the back line. So immediately I'm feeling that we could have definitely we definitely screwed up with our advance. A little bit too slow and too passive, but we could recover. Let's see here. There's actually 2 units of Giselles. Interesting. So with our cavalry force, should be able to just push through here. So we have the Eyes of the Desert moving in too. Cetra's pushing back the ROR Giselles. And let's see if we can kill these dogs. So we'll countercharge them with our cavalry. Not really a charge, but we're moving in with our cavalry. We also need to make sure that our Nehekara horsemen don't get super murdered. And our Bone Giant, I guess, go fight some Giselles. Cetra actually taking quite a bit of damage now, though. And we'll have to make sure that he runs to safety. Let's give him some more resistances. Get him out of there. Shield him with cavalry. And let's see what we can do with these horsemen. Let's see here. We really just want to break this front line so that we can start chasing down the Giselles. And so far it looks like we're only doing okay on that front. We lost our cavalry to dogs over there, and our bone giant is now gone. However, the right flank is going much better. Cetra is still relatively healthy. And yeah, if the front line's doing okay, but the Skaven do have quite a few single entities that are going to cause us some problems. We have the Eyes of the Desert, which should help a lot. And you know what? I think we're going to send them in on the Hell Pit abominations now. Or just a single Hell Pit abomination. Try and actually deal with them. Cetra will be shutting down the, the weapon teams. So that they can't kill my Eyes of the Desert. And hopefully with all of that, we'll be able to do just fine. We're going to also send some more skeletons over. To try and, to block that Hell Pit. So that the Eyes of the Desert can keep shooting. And with all that, I think we'll be okay. Throt is diving in on Cetra now, though. Actually uses AoE a little bit too early there. But yeah, we'll have to play keep away. Throt has too much healing and has way too much HP. And yeah, it would just be a really bad fight for Cetra. So let's get him out of there. Eyes of the Desert. We can keep focusing down the Hell Pit. And if it does move on towards them, we'll use our Ushapti Summon. Our Nahakara Horsemen look like they're doing okay. And we have quite the infantry advantage too. So with Throt coming in to support this bell, we're going to use our Ushapti Summon. And hopefully that'll catch all of the single entities here. Also give us some space for the Eyes of the Desert to get into position for another volley. And then I think we'll be just fine. So there we go. We got Ushapti all over Throt. Eyes of the Desert are getting shut down by the Hell Pit. We can give them some more physical resist. And our horsemen are doing really well. Thankfully my opponent has forgotten some of his rats over here. And as long as Cetra doesn't die to this bell, I think we should be okay. Hell Pit Abomination is very healthy though. And we will need to deal with that in some way. I'm not entirely sure. And if I do pull away the Eyes of the Desert, I'm sure it will chase. But at the very least, that'll be an okay distraction. Now let's see if the Eyes of the Desert can kill the Screaming Bell. And then let's also see if these horsemen have what it takes to kill this Hell Pit. I think that's basically my best chance at this point. So let's go do that. Throt is diving in for Cetra, so we're going to run him away as far away as possible. And Eyes of the Desert, since I think they are crumbling away, they will try to get their last shots on that Hell Pit. We'll be bringing in all of our troops to try and to try and pin it down. And it's looking like it's taking a good amount of damage. We have cavalry on top of it too now. And Throt has, we managed to get Throt off Cetra by threatening the Hell Pit. In fact, it looks like it's about to rout too. So we could be in for a comeback. Even though Throt is at full HP. He, single entities generally don't do too well when they are surrounded. So we're going to see if the surround is enough. Hell Pit is now getting extremely low. And if I can just get these horsemen in and buff up their attack damage, maybe we can take out that Hell Pit. There we go. So we have a nice charge in the back set up. We're going to buff up our horsemen and see if we can get that thing off the map. There's basically no other forces left for the Skaven. So if we do manage to get the Hell Pit, I think we'll be good to go. Let's see here. I feel like it's just perpetually at that amount of HP and it just hasn't dropped at all. Let's see here. we're going to bait out some attacks with Cetra too, just to see if I can get it to miss micro. And we're also trying to bait out Thwart. We want Thwart to we want him to be chasing Cetra and to be distracted. Let's see, we're also going to pull out our infantry and have them rest up so that they can recover their vigor. Then hopefully that'll be enough. Let's see, so we finally get another charge in on the Hell Pit. It looks like it's turned towards my horsemen, so we can buff them up to make sure they don't take as much damage. And now it's just a waiting game. Balance of Power doesn't like me, mostly because I don't have a whole ton of expensive troops left, and my lord is very low. But if we can just get this thing killed, then we're good to go. In fact, I think this blinded effect reduces leadership. No, it doesn't. Bit of a shame. But maybe if we can get Cetra in here, then we can get this abomination out. Going to pop all of our buffs. And there we go, we get it to rout. Thank goodness. So immediately we want our horsemen to be chasing it. And yeah, a little bit of a risky play, but it paid off. Cetra had a huge charge. And should be able to kill off the Hell Pit. Although, actually, Thwart is chasing down my horsemen. And we need something to pin him down. His back is turned to Cetra though, which means that we can get some damage there. And as long as we're very careful with Cetra, I think we'll be okay. Let's see. I'm not sure. My horsemen are actually disintegrating pretty quickly. But we can distract Thwart with Cetra. So let's keep doing that. We'll start charging him in the back. And we're really just worried about our infantry lagging behind. Oh man, let's see. We got 12 horsemen left. They're at 500 HP, so they're bound to get a full disintegration there. And this could be bad because it means that the Hell Pit could come back, which would be that'd be very bad. So let's see if we can get Cetra out of this forest first. It's slowing him down a lot, and sadly that's not enough. So the Hell Pit does actually come back. We're down our horsemen, which means no more cycle charging. But we have our infantry here. And we can get another charge on Thwart. But oh man, look at that quick turn. He actually, yeah, he gets turned around very quickly. Lands a hit on Cetra. Which hurts a lot. And let's see if we can break through my infantry lines. The Hell Pit is low though. But we're about to hit army losses. And I think that's GG. Oh man. All right, so I think we made a bunch of mistakes in the early game, which punished us later. So a little bit unfortunate. Under tournament rules, I'm actually not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure it would be a rule break, just as in disengage. But you can sort of think of it as he's continuing to chase my horsemen too. But yeah, I'm not sure. Oh man, but yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, not much analysis. I went over the main mistakes I made early game. We did manage to chase off the Giselles. He actually had a lot more than I thought he did. But yeah, all we really had to do was protect our ranged troops. In fact, I think my archers just died without me really realizing. These guys were my anti-Hell Pit abomination and Thwart. So next time we'll keep them alive and hopefully things go okay. Recording. So next game, Empire vs Greenskins. We're going very wide. Oh no, is something lagging? Okay, there we go. We're going very wide. Our opponent doesn't outnumber us greatly, which is a huge help. And, oh man, I can feel this game's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be super slow. But yeah, we're going really wide. And our knights are going to be trying to take out the cavalry of the greenskins, but only if they have enough support. So they won't be going up into a head-to-head fight without the support of either spears, pistoliers, or our ranged backline. And yeah, that's the gist of it. Fran's is going to be doing his thing, sniping out single entities, routing troops, and the like. And we just have to make sure that our backline's also defended. So our opponent has Grom. And it looks like he's charging in very aggressively. He actually takes a huge volley from pistoliers. That's actually quite a bit of damage off the back. And we're seeing forest goblin spider riders. So these guys we actually don't have to worry about as much. They do not fare nearly as well versus cavalry. So we'll just chase them down with our Empire Knights. Then we should be good. Let's see, our spearmen will come into support just because they're nearby. And we actually got a pretty big misplay from our opponent with his hero, his caster, actually getting taken out very early in the game. Let's see here. There are some fanatics over. Oh man, whoops! I didn't have guard mode on my pistoliers. We do have some fanatics here, so we will have to be careful around them and make sure that our knights don't stay engaged with them for too long, since they can release those deadly fanatics. And we also looks like we have to worry about this flank of spiders. We're going to pull our knights over there and take them out. And let's see. I guess we just send Franz in on Grom. We're not too worried about them, since even though there are archers to support, I don't think he'll take too much damage, but that's a lot of focus fire. So I changed my mind there. And we're actually going to have to get Franz out of there. So he's just pulling back, and as long as those archers are trained on Franz, we can just focus on dodging. We can also use him to cycle charge infantry and pull him out, since by doing that, he will still be able to dodge shots, like you can see here. Okay, and we're also seeing a big overextension from Grom too. So hopefully we'll be able to get a pick on him. Let's see here. Franz lands. He's outside the range of the archers, which is good. And it looks like he's getting outpaced. Grom is a little bit faster by the looks of it. So we're going to disengage there until the archers are shut down, which should actually be pretty soon. And with that, I think we can probably just keep chasing Grom at this point and running away with our ranged forces. Oh, whoops. Yeah, we gotta chase Grom. And we can afford to do this because our cavalry is now collapsing onto the greenskin archer line, something I think I probably would have wanted to do earlier. But it's fine. We're able to do it now, and it should pay off. Grom is moving in to support the archers, but with Franz around, he won't be able to do much. The Black Orcs are also too far away, and we're using our Sigmar Sons to hold up this infantry fight. We do not want our knights to get surrounded by infantry, so it's very important that we stall them as much as possible. In the meantime, we're also getting in a lot of shots, and now that some of these forces are routing, I'm going to be wheeling in my pistoliers to actually chase them off. And with the Sigmar Sons actually getting pretty low, I think it's time to disengage these knights. And we'll just keep Grom busy with Franz. Our caster does want to get out of there, though. And I guess we'll just throw down a heal. A little bit inefficient, but there's a lot to manage right now. So, it turns out it doesn't matter, because that is game. Oh my gosh, I wasn't really paying attention to balance of power or anything. But we did have a really nice lead. After the two lords were effectively dealt with, there's not much that the infantry could do. They'd just be getting skirmished by pistoliers for the whole game, and cycle charged by knights. So I think we did have the game there. But it feels like my actions were a little bit delayed. So for example, the knights with my cavalry advantage should have been in the back line earlier. And the pistoliers should have also camped at the back line to chase off all those running units. But cool, worked out pretty well. It goes. So next up, we're up against the High Elves. We have a nice sniping build, Arc in the Black, lots of Boshopti, and a little bit to protect them. So these guys will put them on my artillery hotkey. There we go, and we want all of these guys on guard mode so that they don't get out of position. For ourselves, we're going to be placing, since we're going for a ranged heavy build, we want to be away from this forest. Since, we don't have the cavalry advantage. And we do expect some cavalry to move in along that side. Our opponent is already ready. Mostly because they have a pretty small army. So I'm interested to see what they've brought. But seeing a troop count of about 800 is good for us, since it means that our Ushopti will definitely have some targets to choose from. Let's see, let's put this guy on 6, let's put these guys on 3. Yeah. So our infantry is pretty standard. Tomb Kings, it's not too bad, just taking a mix of things. We have Nehekar Horsemen, because we're a little bit worried about infantry. And a Tomb Prince to help fight off single entities. For our opponent, he's gone for a full forest deployment, so we can turn to face him there. The extra distance that he gets, having to move along this open space, means that this really buys him no advantage. So we just have to make sure that what's it? We just have to not get caught by anything in this forest here. It looks like I'm seeing immediately some white lions of Trace, lion chariots of Trace, which are, I feel like that's an interesting pick. I'm not sure if that's something that we see very often here. And there's also a Mage of Fire and Tyrion. So without any healing, I think it's safe to begin Spirit Leeching that Mage of Fire. And without a heavy cavalry force, I'm happy. What's it? I'm happy just cycle charging these rangers. There we go. Arc in the Black will want to dodge those fireballs. And yep, we're just gonna be cycle charging. It looks like the Phoenix is dodging, so we'll retarget the rangers. And we probably want to be throwing down some abilities with Arc in the Black. The High Elves actually have not much of anything, really. It looks like he just took a bunch of infantry, I guess. But the thing that's strange for me is that I'm not sure exactly where his money went. What's it? He took a Phoenix, which takes up quite a bit of it, and a unit of Sword Masters. But did he take anything else? Maybe there's a hidden Vanguard? I'm not super sure. Now, Sword Masters of Horth are probably the most expensive target we could reach with our Ushopti. Yeah, I guess they could be shooting at these lion chariots too, but because they're coming in from the flank, it means that we'd have to be turning our Ushopti constantly to actually, what's it? We'd have to just keep turning our Ushopti to get shots in on these chariots. Which means your damage is getting reduced. So to avoid that, we're just focusing the Sword Masters. Although, now that the chariots are sort of more in my line of sight, I think we can start shooting in on them. I also forgot that I have a Tomb Prince that could be killing those chariots too. But now that we remembered, we'll be sending him in, and he'll be able to do pretty good work against the chariots. Tyrion is killing Arc in the Black. So we'll have to evacuate him out of there. And I guess we're just ignoring the Phoenix for now. and focusing on that chariot. This fire mage should also be going down in just a second. One more spirit leech should get it done. And I guess we'll just summon our Ushapti on top of the sword masters. That feels pretty good. A piercing bolts also looks like it's going down on my Ushapti. Doesn't do very much damage. And yeah, I guess it's just using our horsemen to cycle charge now. See, our Tomb Prince also definitely wants to be avoiding the fight. Oh, what the? Looks like there's a big spell coming down. A burning head. Alright, so we'll just pull back, and it actually turns in the worst way possible for the High Elves. So that's good for us. What isn't good though is that our right flank is falling apart. Let's see here. Yeah, we actually have no more units on the right flank. And that means things could get pretty dicey here. Let's see what's left. Just some white lions. And actually, this Mage of Fire is still alive, which is it's pretty surprising for me. I would have thought that that they would have died at this point. And I guess we'll just have to send our Tomb Prince onto them, and hopefully that'll get it done. We've successfully dealt with the Sword Masters though, with our Ushapti summon. And if the Mage of Fire does survive these attacks from the Tomb Prince, we'll also be able to Spirit Leech it. Now, let's see here. Tomb Prince is also taking a lot of damage. He'll need to run away. And this Mage of Fire, I'm not sure what's going on, if they're getting healing from somewhere I'm not aware of. But they are really just keeping it together. And just refusing to die, honestly. Let's see here. Yeah, the Spirit Leech finishes. And they still live. So, luckily for us, it seems like they are a bit exposed though. And we will be able to send in the Tomb Prince. And that should finally finish them off. And then with our Ushapti, I guess the next target would be this Phoenix. They are just constantly running away from these spearmen though, which is not the best place to be in. But we can get some we can get a summon down here to halt the spearmen and pull our Ushapti back. The two that are free will be able to shoot on the Phoenix, and with the Tomb Prince, we will hopefully be able to catch it. So let's see here. What are these? Just some spearmen. Okay, we can charge them with our horsemen. And okay, it looks like the chariots have actually come back, but it's just one. Its HP is relatively low, so we're not too worried there. And this main infantry force with Turin, we're just going to have to avoid for now. Hopefully we will be able to catch out this Phoenix though, with our Tomb Prince and Archon. And then hopefully we can just snipe it out with our shots. If we can get that done, then I'm feeling a lot more confident about this game. Just because we have our mobility to just cycle charge constantly. Although we're actually running pretty low on horsemen, so I guess it comes down to these stalkers and our remaining ammunition to win the day. Our ROR Ushapti are pretty low on ammo, so I've decided to sacrifice them to hold the line so that our range units can escape. And we're going to use our horsemen to chase off this Phoenix. I think they should be fast enough. So that should be off the field. Lion Chariot is also gone. And now we're transitioning into a kite game. So we can't beat this army in a straight up fight. But we actually have some pretty good mobility, and we can cycle charge since we are using our ammunition, which is actually pretty high. So I think we should be good because yeah, we'll just be constantly shooting and kiting back for the whole game. And as long as Archon the Black doesn't die due to this big misplay, I think we're okay. With the updates to mass, it can get very difficult escaping groups of infantry, and you can see here on his horse, he's actually being held up by a single spearman. But thankfully, he does get out of there. Oh my gosh, a little bit close, but I wasn't worried. Oh my gosh. And yeah, Arkin manages to make it out. Oh man, thank goodness for that. And we're in a good position to have our stalkers use up the rest of their ammunition. Meanwhile, our Ushabti will split up into different directions so that these spearmen can't catch them. And we should be seeing these Sword Masters of Hoeth running too. After that, it will just be Tyrion. And if it's just Tyrion, we have our Tomb Prince for cycle charging, and we have a lot of ammunition. And in fact, now that our Stalkers are actually out of ammo, we'll begin cycle charging with them too. I am a bit worried though about killing Tyrion. He is quite a beast in combat. And we only have this Tomb Prince left to give him a head-on fight. Of course, our Ushabti can shoot him, but with limited ammunition, we'll have to be a bit careful here. We'll be using the rest of our ammo just to rout off these Silverin. And then that's it. The rest are going to have to go to Tyrion. Otherwise, he may be able to carry out a win today. We'll use the Staff of Nagash too to get us another zombie skeleton summon. And let's see here. There's actually a little bit of a cooldown on that. We have to stay in combat to get our summon there. So we'll send in Arkin onto these Rangers. And that should be all we need. Let's see here. So 3 seconds. I think we can pull him back now. And then there we go. We have our skeleton summon. We'll even use them on the Rangers just to pin them down, since we want a bit of space to be able to shoot Tyrion. Now, I haven't been shooting him at a distance because you can dodge the Ushabti shots if they are too far away. So we've brought them up, but this does give our opponent to actually engage our Ushabti. So we'll have to pull back again and continue with the cycle charging to make sure that to make sure that we can actually finish off these melee troops, all these Rangers. Yeah. We have to kill the infantry first before we can actually shoot Tyrion to death. He does make a turn towards my towards Arkin. But now I think we're good. His back is exposed, which means that the Ushabti should be able to fire in on him. And with that, hopefully we'll be able to get him to rout before he gets a healing proc. Tyrion does have something sort of like the... he has a Phoenix-like ability, which lets him heal from low HP. But he can rout. He takes enough damage. Big if, though, because his leadership is looking pretty high. And let's see. I guess we'll reposition our Ushabti and see if we can just goon him out right now with our monsters and cavalry and Tomb Prince. And while that fighting happens, we're going to be looking... Oh, geez, Arkin the Black is suicidal today. But thankfully he makes it out of there. And okay, while this fighting happens, we're going to reposition our Ushabti to actually shoot Tyrion to death. And hopefully that gets him to rout. It's also very important that we take out these units, since we want our opponent to hit army losses as soon as possible. Now, let's see here. Tyrion is exposed now. And he will be taking fire from the Ushabti. But will it be enough to get him to run? The threat of him healing up is still present. And we haven't hit army losses yet. Our Tomb Prince, too, is gonna die, which is very unfortunate. Maybe we should have left him in combat, but thankfully, we just barely managed to get him to rout. I'm not sure exactly what did it, but there we go. I guess maybe hit army losses? Oh, man. So, a little bit sketchy there. You can see this build, the troubles that it had with a heavy infantry force. And yeah, we just caught some lucky breaks, which really helped us out there. But definitely in the future, I think I would change this build, maybe to get some chariots or maybe more horsemen, because yeah, that was a little bit scary. So let's see how it goes. So halberdiers, front line. These guys recently got buffed in the recent patch. They cost a lot less now, and they're nice because they have AP. I'd like to take them in this matchup, or at least I'm testing them out in this matchup against the Lizardmen, because the AP is just really nice versus all those big dinos. We'll have Spearmen in reserve, and these guys are protecting my main damage dealers, that being my handgunners. And yeah, basically just my handgunners. They want to keep my mage alive too. So there we go. That's basically it. I'm wondering if I want halberdiers in the back though. I think I will bring 2 of them back. And this is because the usually it's big armored monsters that will be trying to run through my backline. So there we go. This feels a little bit better. And we'll just position these guys really far back, because they don't really want to get shots on infantry. They mostly want to be shooting the dinos. So doesn't matter if their shots get in early. In fact, we'll even put them really far back. The downside being that they basically won't be able to shoot on infantry, but they're in a much safer position with multiple lines of defense. So there we go. To deal with Source, we have Empire Knights, we have Pistoliers for skirmishing, and hopefully this goes well. Okay, oh yeah, also I brought Franz. I took him with the usual kit. He's there to kill monsters too. Alright, our opponent has a small army, which is very good for us, because we'll probably be able to overrun him with infantry at this point. I'm seeing no range units, so I'm expecting some level of chameleon skinks. But with our 5 mobile units, he will hopefully be able to keep them busy. Some Cold One Riders are moving on the left side. And there we go. We do see the chameleon skinks show themselves on the right flank, which means that the left flank we'll hopefully have less of them. And if that's the case, then our knights definitely want to be fighting these Cold One Riders. We should also be moving up our army to pressure with our handgunners. And France does get shot by a Hand of the Gods. Luckily for us, he doesn't take too much damage. And I think if we just keep these Pistoliers in the back, we should be good. If they can distract 2 units of chameleon skinks, that's an okay position to be in. But actually losing them would be bad. The poison slowing them down quite a bit. And yeah, that's not the best situation to be in. But where the big plays will happen is in this big fight. Now, let's see here. We have our spears braced and at the ready to defend our guns. And they loose a very nice volley onto Krokgar. Meanwhile, we'll have our knights charge in on those skinks. And we'll use our spears to screen out these Cold One Riders. Meanwhile, our guns will be able to shoot on their priority targets. And things are looking good. Our spears are doing really well in screening there. But we forgot about our Pistoliers a bit. We'll have to bring them back. And I think, let's see here. We'll throw down a healing over here just to heal Franz. And we also managed to catch some infantry too. Let's see, our knights are getting charged by the cavalry here. We definitely don't want to be losing too many knights since we have so few. So we're going to be playing very careful with them. And we really need to deal with this cavalry in our backline. So to deal with that emergency, we pulled in our reserve spears in to fight the Cold One Riders. And they should be getting sandwiched now. There is a big problem though, that Krokar is in the mix though. And we'll need to find a way to deal with him. Franz is in the fight, and we are getting some crossfire with our spears. As long as we can maintain that, I think we'll be just fine. To make sure that Krokar doesn't escape, we're going to send Franz in on the fight against him. And I think he should be able to win it with the support of these handgunners, which is why I'm taking that fight so aggressively. As for our knights, we did lose them in the fight against our opponent's Cold Ones. Misplay on my part, but we still have the Pistoliers to keep them busy. If they do decide to die for my handguns too, we have our halberds to cover. And even at this point, that shouldn't matter too much, since we do manage to rout off Krokar. So even if our handgunners do get killed at this point, they have done their main job. And yeah, they're not as important as they were before. Let's see here. In fact, there aren't really too many threats left for us on the Lizardman front. He can't really cycle charge us a ton because, yeah, he can't do much cycle charging because we have Pistoliers pressuring him. And with our spears, he can't win up a straight up fight either. So I think we should be good. We still don't want to be throwing away our handgunners though. So another misplay there. But with bringing in some spear support, I think we should be good. Let's get the Pistoliers in there too. And they should be able to chase off these Cold One spears. Let's see, Chameleon Skinks 2 will have a very hard time versus Empire Knights. So even though those guys are battered, you'll see they actually get in a lot of damage on that charge. The Skink Priest is gone too. And that's a GG. Oh man, nice. So I think just yeah, this just build wise, this was very rough for our opponent Lark. With this type of army, his mobility was countered pretty hard by just our massed spears. Even though he could maneuver around our front line, we just had so many reserves, our handguns were able to continue firing. So yeah, things just worked out about as planned, and we got a win because of it. Forward. And okay, so playing Tomb Kings again, we're up against Empire, and he took 1 million infantry units and no cannons. For his lord, he's bought Boris, and he also has a Bright Wizard. So we're going to see if we can snipe him out. He's throwing in some fireballs on Cetra. We're going to see if we can dodge it by moving sideways. And oh my gosh, those shots really just homed in on him. And he misses the fireball, so a very bad start for the Empire player here. But if he does start to advance, which he does, it means that we could run into some issues. Namely, the fact that that he has so much infantry. What are we gonna do? Let's see here. Our Bone Giants will advance. And then now that there's a net on that Bright Wizard, we should be able to snipe him out. And hopefully we don't lose our Light Caster for it. There we go, another 2 shots come in, but one of them misses, which is a bit of a shame. And now Franz is coming in. So things are scary. We want to finish off the Bright Wizard though. And to do that, oh my gosh, I regret everything about this build. There's so much infantry. What's it? It's just halberds and spears though, right? It can't be that bad. Let's see here. Yeah, it can't be that bad. We just have to make sure our Bone Giants don't get shot to death. Our Tomb Guard will be able to take a pretty nice fight. And we have to make sure we don't fire both shots at the same time. Otherwise, Franz can stagger out of it. Now, how do we deal with the back line of range units? I'm not sure. But I guess we'll bring in our infantry to try and get that done. And Cetra, you know what? I guess now is a good time as ever to begin diving in onto that backline. Our stalkers will do okay in supporting there. But let's see here. This bright wizard is actually back and we'll have to deal with him. See here, our stalkers are shooting at cavalry. And oh man, things are looking so rough. Things are looking real rough. Might have just gotten screwed on the builds here, but I feel like we can still pull it together. Cetra is mucking up the back line very nicely. And he might actually be able to take a fight versus France here. So we're going to be hoping for that. Our stalkers are getting shut down, however. Throw down a heal to try and keep them alive. And we've routed off the firecaster at the very least. So now we just gotta throw down, we're just gonna focus France. Here we go. So going for the big Lord Snipe. It means that Cetra will get shot by all of these ranged units here. But if we manage to pick off France, it would be a huge swing for us. Our stalkers too are freed up. And they're going to pull forwards. And they're just going to dive in on those range units. It's not the optimal engagement for them, but it could be pretty huge. Oh yeah, I forgot. Cetra should be giving himself physical resist against the range units. So there we go, we do that. And with the stalkers chasing off the archers, I think we might be okay. The bone giants will be able to finish off the what's it? Bone giants can finish off friends. There we go. And we have an Ushabti summon in the pocket. In fact, I think we'll throw them onto spears just to make sure that they don't bother my bone giants, who will be shooting the cavalry to make sure we don't get cycle charged. So there we go. Now it's just a matter of making sure that Cetra does not get shot anymore. And to achieve that, we're going to be using him like a chariot, bouncing him between different range units. Oh man, let's see here. So we're seeing a big mass rout coming in from the Empire side, but Cetra is caught in crossfire. He'll have to throw down another, another physical resist buff on himself to stay alive. And we can't heal him up either with, yeah, we can't heal him up either with the Necrotect. But we're doing okay. Our Eyes of the Desert are taking a lot of damage, so we're going to bring them back. And now we're just going to let our bone giants do their thing. Their job is going to be taking out the handgunners. And once it's just archers left, we are not as worried. Mostly because we can dodge archer shots, and they don't have a whole ton of AP. Cetra will be staying away from the pistoliers until they're out of ammunition, which they now are. And now that that's the case, he can charge into them, and they should tear her out almost immediately without doing too much damage to Cetra. Let's see, the Empire forces are regrouping though, and we do have some knights on the side that we'll need to worry about, so we'll turn the bone giants to deal with them. And it looks like, nice, we managed to block them with our spears, which gives us a chance to rout them off. And as long as Cetra doesn't die to these spear units, we should be good. He still has 500 HP and a bunch of physical resist. So he should be fine. So it's just, yeah, letting these bone giants shoot at those handgunners. And then from there, Cetra can probably finish everything off. We don't have a lot of, infantry though, which is what I would have wanted the most. But I think we have just enough. Let's see, these guys are holding off that right flank really well. And we're seeing some spears on the verge of breaking. However, these handguns in the back are a pretty big problem. Their DPS is very high. Yeah, we're just going to keep Cetra away from them. Instead, he's just going to be focusing on the cavalry. So bone giants are dealing with spears. Our infantry are chasing away the archers. And suddenly things are looking much better. We can also use our bone giants just as normal giants now. And with the help of this light caster, you can also keep these guys from kiting us, which will be the best case situation. We do lose Cetra though to 7 Reichsguard and some Pistoliers, which is probably the worst thing I could have done in this moment. But balance of power is still in our favor. We still have Eyes of the Desert. And we have this guy on his horse to chase down all of the... what's it? He can chase down all of the Empire troops. There we go. We chase off the Pistoliers too, which is good. And we have a Bone Giant with 1 shot left. I guess we'll hold on to it for when we need it. And we're just gonna see if we can pull out this Lich Priest. There we go. He does manage to escape. And I think Terror will probably win the day here. The Empire forces don't have friends anymore. And they're breaking pretty rapidly. So I'm expecting this last shot from the Bone Giant should be able to win it. Let's see if he can get it down. Probably not. We'll just charge them instead and get army losses from the Empire. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Alright, so... Oh, that wasn't Franz, that was Boris. Whoops. Effectively the same thing, though. So I think our opponent definitely had what he needed to win the game there. But we got some really nice picks against the Firecaster and Boris. If it wasn't for that, we would be in a lot of trouble there. We actually had nothing to deal with a heavy gun line in the back. And I think if he took more handgunners, that would have been our doom for sure.